What's good with y'all, dog? Like that, I'm back with another reaction video. This one is 10 NBA players that did not deserve an All Star selection. Now, feel like I'm not going to agree with a lot of these because I seen one player on there um, who I don't know. We gonna see. Let's check it out together, man. It's my first time looking at it, so we're gonna check it out together.
Most of the time, players who get voted into the All-Star game by the fans or the coaches, it's fairly accurate the majority of the time. The players who make it are usually the ones who deserve their nomination, but occasionally we do see some selections that are completely whack and based solely off reputation. One example is Michael Jordan's 1985 to 86 season, where he only played 3 games leading up to All-Star weekend, but he still got selected. But MJ did show up in the playoffs that year and dropped 63 points on the Celtics, so you can't say he wasn't an All-Star.
Bro, not saying he didn't deserve it, bro. It don't matter, bro. He still averaged like 30 something points that year. That was like what, his third year in the fucking league? Maybe fourth year in the league, bro. Stop playing with that man, bro. Take him off this list. Disrespectful bitch.
All right, 86.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get rude like that, but that's my favorite player all time.
Before the 2016 to 17 season, the NBA always let the fans decide the starting lineups. So the players who got the most votes were guaranteed to be an all-star starter.
Babe.
However, starting in 2017, the voting process changed, and it only allowed fans to get 50% of the votes, while the rest falls in the hands of the coaches, players, and media. Ultimately, this process has been better because it reduced the number of outrageous selections. Additionally, there are other times when players don't deserve it simply because the numbers they put up were not that good, or maybe there weren't enough good players to choose from at their position. In this video, let's take a look at 10 NBA players who did not deserve their All-Star.
Okay, so I take back what you said about Michael Jordan. He hadn't started the list yet. I misunderstood what you were saying. I'm sorry, my guy. Take back. Okay. That's just my favorite player, y'all.
Start selection. Number 10, Kyle Korver, 2014 to 15. The 2015 Atlanta Hawks had 4 All-Stars, tied for the most All-Stars from one team in a single year. While he was a huge part of the team's success individually, there's no way he should have been selected. In the games leading up to it, Korver averaged under 13 points a game, although his shooting ability was ridiculous that year. I'll give him credit for that, but even Korver himself stated, "That had never ever been on my radar. I don't really consider myself that level of player. It was an unbelievable experience for me, another thing in my career that I never could have imagined." The coaches selected him, but it seems to be more of a product of how good his entire team was, as they went on to win 60 games. I mean, the entire Hawks starting 5 even won the Player of the Month award. Like, seriously? That's even more ridiculous. Number 9, Don Hughes, 1976 to 77.
Not too familiar with this player.
Was a solid point guard and aggressive, hounding defender for most of his career.
He looked mean though.
But he should have never been considered an All-Star. In that season, he would average 8 points and 8 assists, along with 3.5 steals per game. While the steals and assists are not too shabby, the pace of the game was much quicker back then.
I feel he was selected because of his defense and his passing. Because the assist numbers and the steals numbers was ridiculous. That's some ridiculous steals numbers. I like that. That's insane.
Potential for numbers to be higher. Now, I wasn't alive in the 1970s, but from studying the decades, the 70s were quite weak from a talent perspective, especially in the backcourt. It was also the first year of the NBA merger, and the team he played for, the Pacers, were brand new to the NBA scene. The coaches who formerly coached in the ABA now had a voice in selecting the reserves for the NBA All-Star Game, and ultimately they wanted to show their support for youth. Number 8, Vlade Divac, 2000 to 2001. Throughout his career, Divac was always a great starting center, put up some very good numbers in his best years. But by 2001, it was quite obvious he slowed down.
Oh yeah, we
His
gonna
numbers
rewind this
dropped
a little bit.
significantly, and he was
Get back right.
along with
We're skipping
3.5
that.
steals per game. While the steals and assists are not too shabby, the pace of the game was
Not,
much quicker.
not too shabby. Nigga, what? 3.5 steals per game, bro? What the fuck you mean not too shabby, bro? Most people only get like 2 steals, 2.5 steals, nigga. 3.5 steals, bro. Come on, bro. We're talking about not too shabby. Get your shit together.
Back then. It's natural for numbers to be higher. Now, I wasn't alive in the 1970s, but from studying the decades, the 70s were quite weak from a talent perspective, especially in the backcourt. It was also the first year of the ABA-NBA merger, and the teams he played for, the Pacers, were brand new to the NBA scene. The coaches who formerly coached in the ABA now had a voice in selecting the reserves for the NBA All-Star Game, and ultimately, they wanted to show their support for Buse. Number 8, Vlade Divac, 2000 to 2001. Throughout his career, Divac was always a great starting center, put up some very good numbers in his best years. But by 2001, it was quite obvious he slowed down. His numbers dropped significantly, and he was only the fourth highest scorer on his own team. The Kings, though, they made a significant jump from the previous season, so team success had a lot to do with it. Averaging about 12 points and 8 rebounds, he was the injury replacement.
Hey, that Kings team was lit. That was around. I hadn't moved to Sacramento yet, but I'm gonna second around like 2003. And I remember them Kings teams. They still had Vlade and Page and Bibby and Bobby Jackson. They was still doing their thing, bro. They was lit. I'm not even gonna cap.
This man Shaq, he was quite out of place. This would be the only All-Star selection of his career, and it's weird because he deserved it more in his earlier days with the Lakers. To see him get it at the twilight years of his career, it was quite weird. Number 7, James Donaldson, 1987 to 88. His lone All-Star appearance, Donaldson averaged a whopping 7 points and 9 rebounds a game. But this is the story behind it. According to Jeff Wade of ESPN Dallas, the reason for his selection was way more than just his box score numbers.
My towel.
Quote, he wasn't one of the best centers in the league, but his presence shored up a massive lead and helped the Mavs become one of the league's best teams.
So we
This
get you in
dude
the shower
was
off sooner.
7'2", 280
Put this right
pounds,
by the
and
door.
greatly filled the Mavs' need at center.
Warm air from
Keep in
getting
mind,
out.
this was the same year when the Mavs were one game away from reaching the NBA Finals, and the importance of Donaldson showed greatly in the playoffs. Number 6, Jamal Magloire, 2003 to 2004. Statistically, he was better than most players on this list, but he's here due to the sheer shock factor.
Oh, you play for the
Nobody
Hornets?
thought Magloire was an all-star caliber player. Before and after this season, he never matched this production again. That was likely because this was his contract year. He was playing for a massive payday, worked much harder than other years of his career. Luckily for him, he was awarded with a 3-year, $25 million contract.
I be smoking that good. Yeah. But yeah, back to this shit. We good.
Just from looking at it, his numbers were pretty good for a center, over 13 points and 10 rebounds a game, but besides this season, he never lived up to his all-star status again. Number 5, Roy
I knew
Hibbert,
this was coming.
2013 to 14.
I knew this was coming.
I do recognize that Hibbert anchored the Pacers' defense, but the 2013 to 14 season was the start of his downfall. His selection was a product of the Pacers having a phenomenal year. clinching the number one seed, and despite his lackluster numbers, he truly was a game changer on defense. The Pacers did have the number one defense in the league, largely due to Hibbert's massive defensive presence. Looking at the other front court options that year, it was kind of rough. There weren't great front court options who deserved it either. In the playoffs that year, Hibbert's all-star status looked even worse, as he recorded multiple games of 0 points and 0 rebounds. Of course, afterwards, his career was a cliff, one of the worst fall-offs in recent NBA history. By 2017, he was out of the NBA. Number 4, Allen.
I never liked Roy Hibbert anyway, so he was never one of my favorite players.
Iverson, 2009 to 2010. From 2000 until 2010, Iverson made the All-Star game for every single season. While there were other seasons when he definitely should not have been voted in, the 2009 to 10 season was the most egregious by far. He only played 25 games by the All-Star break, 28 for the entire season, yet
he did deserve to be in that game, bro. Just like Kobe deserved to be in the All-Star game his last season, bro. Not playing, bro. There were memorial games, like memory games, my nigga. Like, these are legends, bro. These are their last seasons, bro. They finna lead a game. So, yes, you vote them in. But that's what that is, bro. He deserved to be in that shit, bro. Ooh, he better not have Kobe on this list, I swear.
He was voted in as a starter for the Eastern Conference. Obviously, at this point, the voting still relied on the fans 100%. It's obvious why he got voted in. The critics were plenty, and Iverson got his fair share of negative remarks about how he did not deserve this selection, and that he should not attend All-Star Weekend. To those critics, he responded, "The way I look at it is, what should I do? Should I worry about what those people say or concentrate on the million-plus people that voted for me? To me, it's a no-brainer. My fans want to see me play, and they have the right to put in who they want to put in the game."
Exactly.
And you know what? He's absolutely correct. He was still incredibly popular. The fans still liked him, even though his game failed. This was also his final season in the NBA. And
exactly.
Even though he didn't formally announce his retirement, we all knew his career was coming to an end. The All-Star nomination was the last hurrah for the iconic superstar, except he was injured and did not even participate, so that sucked. Number 3, Kobe Bryant, 2013-15.
Bro, I just said, bro, you better not put Kobe on this fucking list, bro. Bro, I ain't liking this video, bro. I'm giving this shit a dislike just because you put Kobe on this fucking list, bro. You mad disrespectful, fam. Hell no. Kobe deserved to be on that All-Star list, bro. It was the Kobe Bryant tour, my nigga. His last year in the league. His last hurrah. Bro, stop fucking playing, bro. I don't agree with this video at all, bro. After seeing this shit, bro. Bro, hell no. Here you go, baby. This shit has made me angry. This shit pissed me off. Let's see what this nigga got
6 games. That's the number of games he played in the entire 2013-14 season. This entire season was an awful injury-plagued year for him. Kobe spent most of his time rehabbing the Achilles tear he suffered in the previous season, and while he was trying to make a comeback, he suffered a left knee injury in December, which ended his season. That makes this selection look even worse because everyone knew he was out for the entire year. It was a complete disaster, but obviously Kobe was still Kobe. Similar to the vein of Allen Iverson, Kobe still got easily voted in as a starter.
Exactly.
But unlike AI, Kobe knew he did not deserve it that year. And it was this selection that prompted the NBA to change the All-Star voting process in the near future, which they eventually did. Number 2, Yao Ming,
Oh,
2010 to 2011. Instead of 6 games, Yao only played 5 games and still got nominated. It's no surprise why. I mean, he's arguably just as popular as Kobe and AI. What happened was, in the beginning of the season, the Rockets said that they would limit Yao to only 24 minutes per game. Previously, he sat out the entire season due to a hairline fracture in his foot, so coming back was a tough task. But the Rockets were hopeful that Yao could recover. Unfortunately, that experiment failed. This time, he suffered a stress fracture in his left ankle. November 10th, 2010 was the last game Yao would play in the NBA. And at number 1,
that's why he got selected.
2000 to 2001. Hill played 4 games that entire season, but for those who watched him back in the day, you would know that he was the most popular player for a long time.
Hell yeah, it was great. As a rookie,
he made the All-Star team while finishing first in votes. That was the only time in history a rookie led everyone in All-Star voting. Fast forward to 2001, after multiple injuries and multiple surgeries, despite all of that, Hill was still so popular that he still got voted in. Anyway, that's all, folks. That sums up 10 former All-Stars who did not deserve their nomination. Of course, many of them were actual All-Stars for significant parts of their career, but in one particular year, maybe it was just a legacy admission. Other players seemingly
that's enough. That's all you need.
Out of nowhere, and then quickly faded away into obscurity. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section.
So I don't really agree with some of these selections. I feel like a legacy selection is good enough. You feel me? Especially if it's like your last year in the league. Bro, that should not be a problem getting voted in, bro. It's the last year. The AI, I don't agree with the AI, bro. Hey, it is what it is, bro. But yeah, man, thank y'all for tuning in. That was reaction to NBA players that did not deserve an All-Star selection. I don't agree with a few of them. Some of them I do. Some of them I can understand why they got selected, and I can understand why they shouldn't have been selected. But yeah, just $1. Hello, y'all. Stay up, stay safe, stay dangerous, stay humble. Wow. Stay up, stay safe, stay dangerous, stay up, stay safe, stay dangerous, stay humble, stay hungry. All right, man. Love y'all, homies.